Hello and welcome to the Flix Forum podcast, where each episode we usually go back and check out a Netflix original film in the order of release, but today we have a special bonus episode. I'm going to talk about the Netflix 2025 animated musical fantasy action comedy film called KPop Demon Hunters. It's directed by Maggie, Kang and Chris Appelhans. It stars the voices of Arden Cho, Ahn Hyo-seop, Mei Hong, Ji-young Yu, Yunjin Kim, Dae Kim, Ken Jeong and Lee Byung-hun. I'm Jesse, I'm your host. Thank you for joining me today. This is a special episode, not just a bonus episode for a recent film, but a special episode for us here at the Flix Forum. I've been really struggling to find time, but I was like, hang on, I've got to put an episode out because this is our 450th episode. 450 episodes altogether. We have been doing this show since all the way back in 2018. So we've hit 450 episodes. That includes our catalogue, of going to original films and doing them in the order of release. So I think we're currently up to the 380s. So that's about 70 or 60-ish bonus episodes of Netflix original films that we've done too. So big celebration here today. I hope you'll have heard more than just this episode. If there's some other Netflix original content that you've seen, we've probably done an episode. And if you enjoy listening to my docile tones discussing this film today, KPop Demon Hunters, then please do check out some of our other episodes. But as always, before I start talking about the film, I'm going to give that spoiler warning because we will spoil this film as we go today. And we kick the show off with the Fast Flicks, where we do a quick little summary of what the film is all about. So this one's about a K-pop music group who shine in the spotlight with their music careers, but they also are trying to protect the world with their secret demon hunting identities. This is a pretty out there sort of plot, but it's quite original, I guess. I mean, it follows some of the tropes that you see in these types of films, but this is a pretty interesting film. Let's get to it. How did it end up on Netflix? What's the story behind this film? So obviously the title for this one, K-pop Demon Hunters, that's pretty much tells you what the film is about. In Portuguese and Spanish, it's called the K-pop Warriors. So that's all right. In Chinese, it's called K-pop Demon Hunter Girl Group. That gives you even more detail about what this film is about. So we go back to March of 2021, where a film with the working title K-pop Demon Hunters was announced to be underway at Sony Pictures Animation. Maggie, Kang and Chris Appelhans would direct. It was conceived by Kang, who wanted to make a film set in Korean culture. She delved into mythology and demonology for something that could be visually unique compared to mainstream media. She also called the film her love letter to K-pop and her Korean roots. On character design, Kang highlighted wanting to differentiate from Marvel female superheroes that were just sexy, cool, and badass, and instead have girls in the film who had pot bellies and burped and were crass, silly, and fun. This led to the creation of something that... Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit here. This led to the creation of something that encompassed all of those elements. She was also influenced by how Bong Joon-ho juggles so many different tones in his films to where they feel very animated. Appelhans came on board later on after Kang told him her initial ideas for the film. He planned to take a long break after having directed Wish Dragon in 2021. He stated that he always wanted to do a film about the power of music to unite, bring joy, and build community. Kang explained that when developing the history of the Demon Hunters, they decided to play into the shaman women from Korean culture, as historically these women would sing and dance to protect their village and their communities. Kang revealed that the Saja Boys were inspired by Korean boy bands such as Tomorrow X Together, BTS, Stray Kids, ATEEZ, Big Bang, and Monster X. Korean actor and singer Cha Eun-woo was a key influence for the character of Jinu, the group, so the boy group Saja Boys, their leader. The three members of Huntrix, the girl group, were modelled after K-pop girl groups like Blackpink, ITZY, and Twice. The character of Mira was inspired by Korean model Ahn Hyo-seop. Baek Bun-yul of the Korean Times said, "The styling of both groups connects to the past and present of Korea. The Huntrix members wear noriage, which are pendants, and they're integrated into modern K-pop fashion, while the Saja Boys perform in black hanbok and traditional horsehair hats for their song Your Idol, evoking the image of the Jusung Saja, which is the Korean equivalent of the Grim Reaper. Additionally, the weapons that the Huntrix wield are rooted in traditional Korean objects. Kang highlighted the visual journey in the character design, such as the Saja boys starting in a bubblegum pop, very saccharine, super sweet look, and shifting darker until they look like the iconic Grim Reaper with a hat. Appelhans commented that one of the design challenges were the costumes, since they also acted as plot points, noting that the gold outfits worn during the Golden Song symbolize their kind of MacGuffin of a dream, where Huntrix aspire for perfection and being beyond reproach. However, at the second act end, the idea is visually represented as broken, as Rumi is standing there with the dream literally and physically in tatters. The film was animated by Sony Pictures Imageworks in both Vancouver and Montreal, with Josh Beveridge as the head of character animation. Appelhans highlighted inspiration was drawn from music videos, editorial photography, K-dramas, concert lighting, and a touch of anime. Kang explained that after watching Sony's Spider-Verse films, which features this hybrid 2D, 3D style of animation, they decided to pull away from every 2D element in their film, and instead took an inspiration from faces and the look and feel of anime, with the aim of doing a CG version of it. Beveridge similarly noted the inspiration of 2D aesthetics, but with three-dimensional language, and they wanted a film to have a very bold graphic look. Beveridge also highlighted shifting the characters' faces to reflect the film's tone, such as high glamour moments, where they need to feel like pop stars in an animated world, and animated aggro, which has faces with a lot more line work, a lot more angularity, and hyper-ridiculous moments they referred to as chibi or demi-chibi, which is super cute and exaggerated features in Korean. Kang emphasized the effort to authentically represent Korean identity through character animation, such as mouth shapes and eye shapes that were very Korean. Although the characters speak English, Kang explained that the animators designed mouth shapes that would only make as a Korean person with our Korean language. When the film was first announced in March of 2021, a release timetable was not set. Later on that same month, the film was listed to have a release in theaters. In April of 2022, it was reported that Netflix had registered a filing for the film, and then the film was confirmed to be coming to the streamer in February of 2023. In a Business Insider interview with Sony Pictures CEO Tom Rothman, in June of 2024, it was announced to be released in 2025, and then in April of 2025, an animator from the film announced that it was going to be released in June with the release date of the 20th of June 2025. Professor Si Kung-duk of the Sungshin Women's University has sharply criticized Chinese netizens who claim that Korean culture elements in this film, K-Pop Demon Hunters, are part of Chinese culture, telling them to bluntly wake up. He addressed reactions from some Chinese netizens stating there's controversy with this film because they're claiming that the Korean culture elements featured in the film are examples of stolen Chinese culture. However, Professor Seo pointed out that the issue of unauthorized viewership, as Chinese citizens were illegally viewing the film as Netflix is not available in China. Yet there's over 1,000 reviews of the film posted on the Chinese review site Douban. He sharply criticized, saying these Chinese netizens are making absurd claims like this plagiarizes Chinese culture. And the film repeatedly features Chinese Nazi added. Illegal viewing has now become commonplace in China. What's even more shocking is that there seems to be no sense of shame about it, Professor Seo emphasized. Instead of making baseless claims that Korea is stealing Chinese culture, they should first learn to respect the cultures of other countries. Whack from Professor Seo Kung-duk. This film did top Netflix film charts in 41 countries, including Korea, USA, Taiwan, Thailand, Philippines, Singapore, and Portugal after its opening week. As said before, this was released on Netflix worldwide on the 20th of June 2025. What are the critics and audiences saying about this film on Rotten Tomatoes? It sits at 96%. That is fresh. That is on 23 reviews. Audience only a little bit lower at 87%. That's on more than 1,000 ratings. IMDb super high too on 7.9 thousand ratings. It has a 7.9 out of 10. Letterboxd a 3.8 out of 5 on, look at this, nearly 125,000 ratings, and it's been logged by 137,000 people. That's just in a week of release. That is pretty big numbers. On Metacritic, it sits at a 77 out of 100 on 5 critic reviews. So on that traffic light system of red, yellow, and green, that is green, that is positive, as well as the audience at an 8.2 out of 10 on 45 reviews, green too. So I would say positives all round. Wow. Big intro. What are my early thoughts on this one for our 450th episode? I think this is a vibrant visual overload with catchy songs and a nice message. It's worth a watch. This is worth a watch. So let's talk about the characters. I'm not going to talk about every single character in this film, just the main ones. And obviously, Rumi is the one that I need to start with. She is this leader of Huntrix. She's a positive leader, but hides this dark secret. She's an orphan, and that secret is that she's half demon. Her dad's a demon. So this secret brings shame and sort of lets that demon inside her creep over and impact her voice, which she needs. And this film is about her finding her identity. Her other, not team, well, I guess they're team members too, but the other band members or group members with her, we've got Mira. She comes from this traditional family, but likes to push the boundaries a little bit and doesn't really take crap from anyone. She's the black sheep of this girl group family. And dance-wise, no one's got moves like her, but she does have massive insecurities. And the final member of Huntrix is Zoe. She's the little sister of the group. She's the rapper in the songs, in the music they play, and I think she's the only American-born member of the group. So that's where we're at with that one. The other side of things. So we've got Jinu, who is this heartthrob demon who leads Huntrix's musical enemy, these Sajar boys. This is a guy who's sold his soul almost to the devil, and he's been stuck with the pain of what he did to his family. And in this film, he's continuing to do the devil's work for personal gain almost, because he wants to rid himself of this regret and the memories of letting his family down. But this also helps build Rumi's identity too. I guess he has these sidekicks that he sends to try and convince Rumi to meet with him, and it's this like blue tiger and demon blackbird. And they're almost there to woo Rumi, and they're pretty cute. They're very How's Moving Castle and Spirit Away, those types of characters or My Neighbor Toroto. I can't even think at the moment. So Bobby's another character that we talk about. Bobby is this hardworking agent for Huntrix. He does everything for them. Cool character. And finally, Guimar is that big villain demon-like spirit thing. He's been cut off from the human world and is ready to come back and take more souls, and is getting Jinu to do this for him. The directors. So, Maggie Kang, this is her first directing credit, but both directors on this film, Chris Appelhans as well, they've both done a lot of work in animation. So Maggie Kang, she's worked on Minions: The Rise of Gru, Croods, the New Age film, the Grinch animated film, the Lego Ninjago movie, Trolls, Kung Fu Panda 3, Rio 2, Rise of the Guardians, Shrek Forever After, Madagascar 2, and Over the Hedge. So has been doing a lot of work in the background, and this is that big step up to director role. And then Chris Appelhans, who I mentioned before, directed the animated film Wish Dragon, but has also worked in the art department for films like the Angry Birds movie, Puss in Boots, Princess and the Frog, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Coraline, and Monster House. So he's done a variety of 3D animation, stop motion, hand-drawn animation. If you go through all of those, there's lots that he's done as well. Let's talk about the scenes. What stood out in this? What didn't work in this for me? Start off with, I think, the first fight with the demon air hostesses on the plane. These are these zombie-like creatures. They're pouring coffee on plants. It was funny. That was good. I think there's a scene where Jinu tries to convince Guimar that to defeat these Huntrix girls, they should make this demon boy band, and Guimar isn't convinced. So Jinu does this little boy band dance, and Guimar is like, well, that will work. So I thought that was quite funny. The girls go to this special herb tonic drink shop to fix Rumi's voice as it's starting to disappear. And it's a really funny scene with the man in the shop reading each of the girls, like just their personalities and who they are, and them bouncing off it. And then they walk out of the shop and see the Saja boys for the first time, and all the girls are pretty much goo goo gaga. Some really cool animation there as well. The songs are all good. Throughout the film, the songs are all good. I really like that Soda Pop song, and I think it was along the lines of Be Free. It's this song that Rumi and Jinu sing together. That was really good too. I like that the girls throughout the film, the common thread is that they're continually trying to get Rumi to go to the bathhouse. And when they finally get her through the doors, this big fight breaks out with zombies. And I can't remember which character it was. One of the girls was like, "It's usually more relaxing here." That was also funny. And I think the fan signing, there's this fan signing where Huntrix are there, and then the boy band rock up, and the fans keep switching sides. And it was really well staged and funny. And the banter from Jinu to Rumi about he just knows her secret and wondering if she's told her secret to her friends, and the fans, giving them merchandise and these like drawings to show them, especially for Gino, about him having a good soul and a good heart, and the fans thinking they're in a romantic relationship. It was all really well done, really cool scene. What didn't work? The Blue Tiger, this dude, his first introduction was him continually knocking over this pot plant on a balcony. It wasn't funny. And it was too repetitive, but at least, as the film progressed, I did like those sidekicks. Towards the end, I've already said spoilers, but I really didn't like Jinu sacrificing himself so Rumi and the girls could win over evil. Like, you have this whole film of strong females to just end up with them being victorious because of a male sacrifice. It just didn't sit well for me. I really didn't like that plot point. Some themes, some ideas. This film's saying a lot. There's obviously that idea of being there for your friends and facing your problems head on, not letting shame or guilt overtake or continuing to hide or lie to yourself and those closest to you. So that plays a big part, as well as embracing your true self and who you are. The other sort of underlying things, I guess, the souls being enslaved by this dictator, maybe a bit of a common thread with some current world politics, which plays through that good versus evil idea, and idols, people having idols and idols having to hide their own faults and fears to ensure that fandom continues, and the things that people do for their fans and for fandom, and that grueling schedule at times that doesn't allow for rest, and you've just got to be on the ball all the time. Also, finally, that virality almost of the music industry, but the ability it does have to ignite the soul, I think they say, and bring people together as well. So that's quite nice. What I take away from this, I feel like the soundtrack, I'm going to have to find it on Spotify and play it a couple of times. I think some very decent songs throughout this film, which was quite good. Usually there's a few songs that you're like, a bit of a skip miss. They're all very good, well written, and played a great part in telling the narrative as well throughout this film. We have a section where sometimes we jump onto IMDb to say, hey, I needed to check out an actor or an actress. Voice cast, this one, I didn't know the cast before I watched it, so I didn't know, but I was very surprised and happy to find that most of the cast have Asian roots, which is fantastic. And while watching this, though, I was desperate to find out who voiced the character of Mira. Just sounded like Donna from That 70s Show, but is voiced by Mei Hong from Hacks. So that's a really good thing too. All right, some questions, some pondering, some thoughts. I don't have too much, but there was this character, Celine. I haven't mentioned her yet. She's Rumi's mentor-like character, and she pops up here and there, and I think she was her sister, possibly. If not, like, the connection to her mum, it wasn't really drawn out. And how did the girls get chosen to be these demon hunters? They talk about a group of girls being chosen every generation. Like, there's no backstory to that. It was very quick sort of exposition to start the film off without giving too much away. And that idea of how did Rumi's mum hook up with a demon in the end to have a child, there's just all these questions that I had in the back of my head, especially, I guess, with that Hon-moon magical barrier that stops the demons from crossing over to Earth. Like, where does it come from? How does it work? What, like, just some background knowledge behind that could have added some further detail for me too. But other than that, I am ready to wrap this one up. We give the film a rating out of 5 stars on the show. For me, this is a vibrant, new animated film, I guess, that hits a wide demographic. Haha, funny. I'm trying to be punny. Haha. Because this film's about demons, but it hits a wide demographic. It's obviously not for real little ones, but age 10 plus, you've probably got a hit, and you're going to bit of international sort of appeal to lots of people as well. And I think Netflix connection with Sony Animation, they obviously worked on Mitchell and the Machines and that... what's it called? Vivo, that the little bird, the singing bird that was a musical as well. And this continues here, and I think Netflix are probably going to be pretty happy with this one. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. Solid score for me. We're on socials. We've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, and we have X, formerly known as Twitter. Give us a follow, give us a like if you can. The question for this film that I wanted to ask, do you have a favorite K-pop group? I'm intrigued. I only know the big ones, I guess. Blackpink and BTS. They're the sort of ones that are pretty well known. That I know a couple of their songs, I guess. And there's that Rosé artist who's done that song. with Bruno Mars and on the F1 soundtrack. So any good hits or any good tips, I guess, or some other K-pop groups I could listen to, let us know in the comments. Other than that, we are back on Monday for a regular episode. We do have a huge back catalogue now of 450 episodes covering Netflix original films. So give us a search, have a listen, see if you can find a film that you've seen that you might want to listen to what we've got to say about it. As always, really enjoying the journey. We are coming up to the second half of 2025. Still lots of films to go as we creep closer to our 500th episode altogether. And in our regular catalogue, 400 Netflix original films in the order of release. Pretty crazy, pretty wild. We're sticking at it. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you on Monday for our normal episode.